Hello again. My name is Mike. I'm a chaplain with Trinity of Christ Ministries. I'm also a relationship coach specializing in intimacy and infidelity issues. So let's go ahead and get the question out of the way. Chaplain White, why are you wearing a pink hat today? Well, I'm wearing this pink hat because my son dared me to. He said I wouldn't do it, and this is me proving him wrong. So if any of the ladies out there would like one of these pink hats, please let us know at trinityofchrist.org. Send us a message or find us on Facebook, and we will send you one of these hats absolutely free of charge, including shipping. So now that we know about the pink hat, let's get started. Today we're talking about the inside of a cheater's mind. What's going on in their mind? When you've been cheated on, it's kind of hard to understand what's going on in the person who's betrayed you's mind. You often think, how could they do this? I never thought they would do something like this to me. I always thought they were a better person than this, and that sort of thing. That's perfectly natural. Um, First of all, you need to understand that cheaters always lie to themselves, not just to you. They lie to themselves in many different ways of justifying this affair that they're having. This goes back to the same thing we say every video, the cognitive dissonance of the mind. Uh, this, the mind's in conflict. It is trying to reconcile why it's doing something, that it believes is wrong. So they lie to themselves to make it easier for them to comprehend and justify what they're doing in their mind. Uh, they will often switch off their moral compass to avoid guilt. Um, if you're not in an affair, it's kind of hard to understand how you can just do this. But again, cognitive dissonance will allow this. It will allow the brain to switch off its moral compass and justify the affair to avoid the guilt they're feeling. Because even though they may not show it to you, they almost always are feeling some form of guilt. They feel like, this is wrong. I'm not supposed to be doing this. But the brain says, well, we'll justify it with these excuses. This is making a partner out to be a bad guy, the spouse, uh, you know, and things like that. So this allows them to flip off their moral compass so it doesn't get in the way of their affair. Um, you also will see things uh, that are certain traits in people who tend to cheat. It'd be nice if we could find these traits when we first meet this person and get interested in this person. And they're there. The problem is that the infatuation and the attraction we feel will often ignore these signs. Uh, you know, if you've ever talked to somebody that's in love or thinks they're in love or very infatuated with someone, it's kind of like the father who sees his daughter with, you know, dating some guy that he knows is, going to be very bad for her, but she just refuses to listen because he's got all these feelings and emotions that, she's feeling, and nothing's going to trump that. So we're just going to ignore dad and do what feels good. Uh, a lot of us are guilty of that when we see red flags in a person we're interested in. The emotions override the reality, you know. So some of the things we'll see in people that are kind of red flags is the attachment, the attachment style. Uh, you know, this has got a lot to do with how they learn to love or be loved. Uh, you have avoidant attachment versus secure attachment. Now, this isn't something that you have in control over. This will probably have happened during their adolescent years or their childhood. This could very well be a relationship they have with their mom and dad. It could be a relationship they saw in the marriage and the relationship between the mom and dad. So, believe it or not, what your children see in your marriage and the way you treat each other has a huge impact on what type of attachment style that they'll have as they grow into adulthood. Um, people say, well, they were born that way. Not always, and oftentimes not. It's what they were brought up around. For instance, if you have a boy that was brought up in a marriage and he saw his dad, you know, physically abuse his mother, then if this boy grows up into manhood and starts a relationship or marriage of his own, there's a very good chance that he will see physical abuse of his wife as kind of no big deal. It's kind of normal. This is what marriage looks like because this is what he was brought up in. Even though consciously he will know this is wrong, it's the attachment style that he's developed because he saw his mom and dad. So he thinks that this is what a marriage looks like. Of course, it's not. It's not what it should look like. Certainly not what God intended it to look like. Um, so, other things you'll notice is personality traits. And when you meet someone, or let's say you're already married to someone with these personality traits, these are a big telltale sign of what things come or are to come. Because as we do coaching and counseling in infidelity and marriage and things like that, we see these traits across the board with people. Now, no two cases are the same, but these traits are prevalent in a huge number of problem marriages. You can see these traits. And, they're just personality traits. And some of them are narcissism, of course. Almost everybody's heard of that one. Very popular. Uh, this person will show a trait of low empathy. If you are with someone, you're dating someone, and let's say you see a situation where empathy is called for. Maybe there's a hurt puppy, you know, just for example. And this person doesn't show much empathy for that. They're like, yeah, he'll be fine. You know, at the time, it doesn't seem like that big a deal, but this is a personality trait. And it may be a puppy today, it may be you tomorrow. Uh, another one is entitlement. If you are with a spouse, or perhaps you're interested in someone who shows entitlement personality trait, I deserve this, I'm entitled to this, you owe me, uh, this is bad. This is a trait that's probably going to show up later if you're dating this person or interested in this person. And if you're already married to this person, I'm sure you've seen it many, many times. Impulsive. People who are impulsive tend to make rash decisions. They are impulsive. Uh, I'm not going to get into it too much right here, but we see this in uh, women with more than one tattoo. They're impulsive. Those women are way more likely to cheat than women without tattoos, believe it or not. That'll probably get some people riled up. But yeah, we see these traits throughout relationships. Um, Thrill seekers, people who are constantly needing thrills, people who get bored easy. If you're dating someone that gets bored real easy, yeah, be careful because that's a trait of cheaters. That's a very good sign. Not a guarantee, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's inevitable, but we see it across a huge number of infidelity cases to where this person is a thrill seeker. They get bored easy. They constantly need to be entertained with something new and something exciting. If you're married to or dating someone like that, that's that's a red flag because again, it's not guaranteed that they'll be unfaithful, but from the case studies we see, it's it's likely. So uh, the other one is kind of along the same lines, boredom. If you're dating someone or married to someone who's constantly complains about being bored all the time, red flag. Because people who get bored all the time go back to the thrill seeking. They want, they constantly need to be entertained, constantly, need something to make them feel alive and, exciting. So that's another reason. Um, so just to summarize, narcissism, low empathy, entitlement, impulsiveness, thrill seeking, boredom, all those things are all personality traits of cheaters. Um, I'm sure a lot of people will hear this and disagree with it, but it's absolutely true. We see these same personality traits across the board in many people who cheat. Uh, it's not a one and done thing. It's not a guarantee. By no means am I going to say somebody who exhibits these traits are going to cheat without a doubt. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the likelihood of them cheating is significantly greater than someone without these traits. You tend to see these same traits in people who cheat. Uh, they will often use flaws as excuses. You know, I'm flawed. It's not my fault. Um, you know, here's the problem: an explanation is not an excuse. Yeah, maybe this person does have his personality trait. It's not an excuse to cheat. Using your flaws as an excuse to cheat is, just hogwash. It's never a legitimate, valid reason. Uh, One thing you need to remember is not all cheaters are the same. Uh, we like to group them all together. We like to say, "Oh, a cheater's a cheater." You know, it's once a cheater, always a cheater. Yeah, we all heard that, but they're not all the same. Their cheaters are very different and cheat for very different reasons. Uh, you have serial cheaters. Serial cheaters are going to cheat. Doesn't matter who they're with. You're never going to make them happy. They're never. Again, I'm not going to say they're never going to stop, but the chances of them stopping are very slim. These people are very self-centered, very arrogant. They believe they're entitled to cheat. They don't see the big deal. They've cheated in every relationship they've ever had, and they're going to cheat in this relationship with you. Uh, I don't pull any punches with these people. I don't waste much time because there's no point. You know, if they really genuinely want help and want to change their ways, then they can. But, you know, usually even when they come to a counseling session or a coaching session or whoever, it's usually just for show. It is nothing genuine there. They don't really have any remorse for what they did. They're usually doing it to try to, smooth things over with the wife or the husband. Uh, you see this trait in both genders. I don't think there's more serial cheaters that are men than there are of women. It's pretty much equal. Lots of women are serial cheaters. Lots of men are serial cheaters. Uh, you also have situational cheaters. These are cheaters who wouldn't normally cheat, but they were in a situation to where they did. Uh, they may be going through grief. You'd be surprised at how many people cheat when they're grieving. Somebody's just lost a child or a parent or something like that. This would be chalked up to situational cheating. Some people cheat after they lose a job. They become depressed. They feel worthless. This other person comes along, pays them attention, makes them feel good again, makes them feel like they're worth something again. So these are known as situational cheaters. Uh, you also have exit cheaters, people who cheat uh, at the end of a relationship. This can be done for several things. It can be done uh, in order to get caught so the relationship ends because they've already decided that this relationship is over. This marriage is done. So they they will cheat in order to end the marriage. Uh, they also may do it, believe it or not, as far as being uh, make themselves feel less guilty. Cheaters will often, like, for instance, I'll say a woman will like clean the entire house and you know take care of chores and make everything's tidy and nice before they leave, before they cheat. And the reason for this, it sounds strange, but the reason for this is because in their mind, it helps them, the cognitive dissonance. Uh, I'm not such a bad person. See, I did all this. I the whole entire house is spotless, and the kids were fed, and the dog was walked, and I checked the mail, and I picked up the dry cleaning, and I cooked dinner. You know, uh, and then in their mind, that's what this is. This is the cognitive dissonance, trying to reconcile the brain that yeah, we're doing this awful thing, but look, we did all this great stuff, so that makes it offset all the bad stuff we did. So this is a mindset. Seen it a few times. Um, so not all cheaters are the same. People cheat for different reasons. People cheat. Uh, it's kind of like, I hate to say, once a cheater, always a cheater, because that's not true. Now it is true that if someone's cheated, there's a 75% chance that they will cheat again. That is true. They have a better chance of cheating again than not cheating again. But some people do genuinely make mistakes and are genuinely sorry. And uh, this isn't paid through lip service. This is proven through actions. This is proven through commitment. This is proven through, you know, uh, their commitment to the marriage, to the spouse. And you see real change in these people that they want to, make this marriage work and be faithful. Those people, you know, are the people that have the best chance of reconciliation and safe marriage. So this was just a little preview of the mind of a cheater and some of the things that cheaters think to themselves and some of the reasoning they have. Of course, you always hear me say there's never a valid reason for cheating. I don't care what your excuse is. it's never a legitimate excuse. But anyway, to wrap this up, again, my name is Mike. I'm a chaplain at Trinity of Christ Ministries. This is part of our ongoing uh, infidelity and intimacy series. If you would like more information, you can visit us at trinityofchrist.org. You can also find us on Facebook. For any of the ladies watching, if you're interested in the pink hat, you can get a free one uh, at no cost to you by giving us a message at trinityofchrist.org or find us on Facebook and send us a message. I appreciate you watching. I hope this helps someone who need it. Hopefully you don't need the help, but if you do, I hope this does help. And I'll see you again, and God bless.